I once saw a video of Africans making comments as regards the increase in the exchange rate. Now, for context, these guys are overseas or outside of a country. They were trying to make certain purchases and they started saying that before they make purchases, they have to, convert to their local currency before they can make purchases. There are certain things they couldn't do. For instance, if you want to barb your hair in the UK or possibly in the US, when converted to the average Nigerian naira, you most likely would have spent about 100,000 naira, try to get a haircut. In fact, some Africans have begun to learn how to, barb themselves, or they just grew their hair. Same goes with the women making their hair. They're in cool money there. And so we get to see some Africans out there who begin to give perspective to the fact that they have to convert to the average, to their local currency before they can spend. As interesting and intriguing as this is, it's still important that you know that it's still a function of a mind. Your mind makes you see yourself as one who is not capable of spending a certain amount of money, or you don't think that you have what it takes to spend that, or in your spending, you are spending excessively. Meanwhile, you are just, adjusting to a new client. Now, I'm sharing on the role your mind plays in generating real wealth. Now, whatever exposure you want to get, whatever things you want to do is tied to, the highs and lows are product of the exposure of your mind. Now, nothing is small, nothing is much. It is all about comparison. The mind has been trained to see things differently, has been trained to compare. So when you see a glass of water, you want to say a glass of water is much more, because immediately I mention a glass of water, your mind is already comparing it to, a jug of water, comparing it to an ocean. Okay. In all those comparisons, we get to say something is small. So nothing is truly small, nothing is truly big until comparison comes into play. And this comparison happens right in your mind. We see the same thing when we say people are beautiful. And when we say people are beautiful, we look at them and we are comparing them to someone. We say, this person is ugly. The definition of ugliness there is always in comparison to a look that we have seen with somebody, or at one point or the other. Yeah, let's just leave it that way. Now, let's get straight into it. The same thing with finance. Okay. The reason why I'll say that certain things are expensive, exorbitant, certain things, is because there's a measure of comparison, innate comparison going on in my mind. Now, every human mind has tendency, of being calculative, of comparing things, just opposing things against the other. Now, what am I saying in essence? I'm simply saying that you could need a slippers. What would determine sometimes, in some cases, because I understand when things are exorbitant, when things are exorbitant, they are off the roof in the sense that how much this thing is being sold normally, and suddenly this person is selling at an increased rate, so you want to say that it's exorbitant. And so in most times you see instances where these things are not just we say these things are expensive. I was going to get some measure of jewelry in the last few weeks. I was going to get some measure of jewelry, and they told us how much 1 carat of gold is, or 1 carat gold, how much is worth in today's market. I was like, whoa, that's expensive. Exactly. My mind. What will determine the expense is tied to the posture of what should be valuable or what should be normal. It's a comparison, very tangible. Will I say it's very tangible? Maybe I'll refer to it as being pretty I don't know. I'm lost for words. Maybe you look for a word for me there. Okay, but it's just slight information in my heart telling me that this is too much. You can't pay this much for this. You can't do this for this. You can't do that for that. And so if I can snap out of that mindset or that picture in my mind that this is too much. I mean, who tells you that you can't use a 7 karat gold, 15 karat gold, or 10 karat? Who said you can't use it? Who said you're not worth it? But your mind says to you, no, it's expensive. I mean, I cannot imagine that I want to wear jewelry that when I say praise the Lord, everybody's not focused on the praising the Lord. They are focused on my jewelry. Now, I understand place of modesty, and that's personal preference tied to different ethics that you're upholding. That's different. I mean, but I'm speaking on a general slate where you want to buy food. You think that, there was a time in Nigeria, even in Africa, where we felt that going to shop, at ShopRite is really expensive to do. It's for big people, going to where else again? I mean, going to eat at certain places or lodging, when you travel to a different state, lodging in this Sheraton hotel, these, hotels that we just feel that it's only rich people, that that lodge there. The same thing when you're flying. You feel you're flying first class is for a reserved few, or a remnant people. Meanwhile, you just want to tell your mind, play a mind trick on yourself that don't worry, we all arrive at the same place. It is the same place we are going to. Is it not just to arrive? God will grant us safe journey and we are going to the same place. I mean, you can go to the same place, but the experience will be different. And so you want to ask yourself how the experience will be. Now, in coming into wealth, true wealth is not, attained as I've come to see. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I mean, if there's a tree or ladder and the learning scale, I'll possibly be at the bottom. Okay. And so just take it as my own personal opinion. I'm open to corrections. On the ladder of what's it called now? Attaining success as regards finances, as coming into wealth. One thing I've come to discover is that you will only gravitate to the measure of the development of your mind. Okay, how much of your mind you expose to things. Again, I'm not talking to Christians here. I'm talking to everybody. How much of your mind you expose yourself to, how much of exposure you give your mind will determine how much of wealth will gravitate towards your side. Now, there was this young boy who, he grew up in what I call it an alienated part or a sectionalized folks. They were blacks, and you understand during those period where the blacks, even till now, some measure of racial discrimination, but not as much as it was in the days of this young man that I'm sharing his story. And there were limited opportunities for blacks. Even if the opportunities were there, nobody would employ them except they were extraordinarily good, except they were extraordinarily, brilliant. In the case of this boy, he started off by shining shoes, and the next thing he started eavesdropping. He started eavesdropping on conversations of how people, white folks, are investing into stocks, investing into real estate, and different things like that. And so each time he's there shining their shoes, his ears are very attentive to pick one information or the other. Now, what was he doing at those stage? He was telling his mind that this thing is possible, that if I try this, that this information is not racial. This information is not just for whites. This information is for anybody who pays attention to it. Now, that is the thing with the principles of wealth. The principles of wealth, when engaged, will produce the same result irrespective of the person, irrespective of the individual. The principles of wealth, when obeyed and followed through, will bring men into principals, will bring men into becoming principalities. Now, the folks who have become principalities in different sectors are men and folks who have embraced principles of wealth. And principles of wealth, they vary. I'm not going to teach you that. You have tons of books and information on principles of wealth, but I'm saying that basic principles principles of wealth is getting the right information, getting into the market, making the best, persevering, and getting, all that is needed from that business or that venture, as it were. Now, it's not about the fact that many people are doing it and that's why I should do it. It's simply about the fact that you've gotten right information and you are making the best of it. Now, the same business that people are making the most of, many people have gone broke and will be generationally poor, okay, because they do not have the right information. Some people have got into business ventures and they didn't know when to get out. Some people got in at the wrong time and they got stuck. Now, I'm going to continue with that story of the guy, but I want to bring up the story that happened recently in the crypto space. Now, there was this coin that came out, and and folks, they needed to tap their phone screens to be able to get access. Just generate as much. It's like they're mining. They call it mining. And so you find people tapping. And suddenly, these guys went out there and, they were selling. And now folks who had tapped a lot, who had, latched on the information early enough, made tons of naira, tons of dollars. Okay. Now, irrespective of the nation they made money. Now, follow up to that, another one came out, and people, who missed out on the first one said, wow, okay, we missed out on this. It means this thing is real. Now, I was in the markets a couple of months ago, and I saw young folks at every slight opportunity, they were tapping their phones. Now, because of what they got, or because of the news they got from the first one, they began to tap. They believe that they're going to get another. So they are tapping at the slightest of opportunity. People are tapping their phone screens. Now, it could give them the results that the first one gave. But the truth is, the people who even developed the app, or the people who even developed the coin, are wise. They also know, and they know how to make the most of this opportunity. And so the more engagements they're having, the more they know that, okay, now we can tap into this. Now we can make the most of this. We can leverage on this, and such that, okay, the reward for tapping can now be lesser than the first one, but it will be beneficial to those who developed it. Now, because now they have a lot of people across the globe who have latched on their platform, traffic, because truly every business thrives on traffic. There are no wealth, or there's no money in business. There's only money with the traffic, the people. The people are the ones who are carrying your money. They're the people who are carrying your wealth. So you stop seeing the money, you begin to see the people. Once you see the people would naturally gravitate to any business venture, or they'll patronize any business with what they have, their resource. So if you get the people, you have their money. I know there are slight instances where you have the people and they're not willing to give. Possibly different excuses and reasons why that can happen. One of which can be the fact that, the people have not thoroughly bought into the idea. They are not seeing what you're seeing, or they are not seeing what you're selling. Okay, because one of the major hallmarks of sales is to paint the picture of what you're selling. Okay, you sell it to them, but as you're selling it verbally, it must paint a picture in your heart, and they must see themselves in there. Okay, one of the theories of motivation, you understand, is what is in it for me. And so they must see themselves in this thing. What is in this thing for me? How is this thing going to profit me? Okay, and so these guys, and I'm sure, going to latch on the traffic they have at the moment, and they're going to make the most of it. Now, what am I saying? People are now tapping their phone screens, but possibly they missed the window of opportunity when it came at first. And that's the thing with opportunities. Not many will get it. Not many will see it. And so that's why one person defined poor, or to be poor, to mean passing over opportunities repeatedly. Okay, they said being poor means to pass over opportunities repeatedly. And you see, passing over opportunities repeatedly means passing over information repeatedly, because opportunities come in form of information. What information are you getting in as you got your finance? What information are you getting? Are you stretching your heart? Are you stretching yourself to see better things? Are you stretching yourself to get the most of information? What exactly exactly will give you an added advantage in this world? You need to know that. Some folks will tell you that when things get harder, when the economy is getting harder, the next thing to do is to downsize. The next thing to do is to cut expenses. I say, as good as those things are, one of the other things you can do is to expand investment. Okay, look out for new opportunities of how to spread your income, how to spread your resource, such that you have a wider net you can catch. Wider net, wider reach. You can catch bigger fishes. Okay, you can harvest in more places. Okay, don't narrow it down to a space. Yes, I understand that no one became reputable in business by doing many things. I know they didn't start with many things. They started with one, but they succeed at many things, yet depending solely on one. So as much as you have your foundation sorted with that same singular idea, either business idea or a service you want to render, whatever structure it is, still do not see the money. I want you to see the people. See the people who are coming to serve, who are coming to take a hold of the service that you are giving to them. Once you see the people, the resource will come. Especially once there's satisfaction in the service being produced or being provided, okay, you would see that there will be a return. People would give. People are willing to pay anything that they find valuable to themselves. Okay, look at what happened during the COVID-19 nose mask. Look at what happened during the COVID-19 as regards hand sanitizers. Look at what happened during COVID-19. Different instances. Okay, the checking, the hotels. Look at what happened. Real estate. Look at what happened. Food stuff. Look at what really happened during those periods. Reality check. Social media apps got more engagement. Zoom got more engagement. Google Meet got more engagement. All those platforms got more engagement. Virtual platforms got more engagement. And the more the traffic, the more the resource. So I'm simply saying that a mindset, a mind posture, is one thing that is required for wealth creation. True wealth creation is tied to information, is tied to a mind posture. Information, ideas cannot come until your mind is postured. Let your mind be postured for it. There are certain places you get to, and all you want to do is to think. All you want to do is to bring in ideas. Many people have traveled abroad. Many people have gone abroad, but there is nothing they brought from abroad or they brought from outside of a country, outside of the things they bought. They never brought in ideas. They never imported things. Not many. If we have so many, then we'll have a lot of wealth creation being done. But not so many are creating wealth. Okay, many will just come talk. Now, I think that it's a season we're in where we're moving from a point where people are just talking to a point where people are doing things. Now, you've seen movies, you've not been able to travel. You've seen movies, you've been able to hear people talk. What things are you creating? What service are you providing? You don't think that the experiences you have are worthy of you documenting as a book? You're worthy of you teaching a few people, worthy of you, impacting people. Again, impact on lives will be the thing in turn to bring in wealth. Not focus on their pockets. Don't focus on the pockets of men. Focusing on the pocket of men won't bring wealth. Focusing on traffic, on the people, being satisfied is what will bring wealth your way. Change your mindset, change the way you view things. Again, this is PV Musings, and I'm sorry that we had to do a rush. I was just speaking as inspired, and I hope this blessed you. I look forward to your feedbacks. God bless you.